In a recent poll that took place in the UK, men of all ages were asked how masculine they felt and divided into 3 age groups. Percentage of men from the youngest group, the 18-24-year-olds, claimed to feel completely masculine was 2%. Whereas for men in the 65 plus group, it was 56. And maybe you relate to the sentiment, I'm not feeling like a man, just a boy living day to day and one bad way from screwing it all up. But we all feel this way. We are a generation raised without fathers, trained to be submissive by the school system and emasculated by society. But when I dive deeper into this, I realized there's actually 4 things destroying our potential as men, but they all stem from one root cause, which is the failure to take risks. Everyone now stays risk adverse. They live in the same place, work the same job, live the same day on repeat, like they're a hamster spinning endlessly on a wheel. We need a sense of adventure or thrill or even thought to go out into the unknown and see what we and the world have to offer, because when you do just that, you start a new business, learn a new skill, do a solo travel trip, switch jobs, even something as small as taking a new route to the gym or work or trying something new on a menu, you don't know where you could end up, and that sparks something inside of you. Growing up in an Asian family, they're very risk adverse. Your life is to do 3 things, right? You go to college, you become a doctor, an engineer, and then you get married and pop out a couple kids. If you do anything else, your family will freak out and they'll see you as a failure. And of course, we want to make our families proud. But ultimately, going from that man-child, overprotective mom wanted me to be, to one that sneaks out and goes to BLM riots or dies with sharks, it showed me a part of me I didn't know existed. And I felt myself grow so much more into a man. I felt that same exact way when I said screw it and cold approached an act, started this YouTube channel, created an e-commerce business. Even when I went to Iraq and had to deal with ISIS attacking the city I was staying in. And that's because for all of human history, we as men took risks. We sailed across uncharted oceans, trenched dangerous jungles, and went to war with uncertainty looming over us. And you already know every single successful person in history took risks. Zuckerberg expressed this quite well. The only strategy guaranteed to fail is not taking risks. If you refuse to take any risk in your life, you will pass up every opportunity in front of you in favor of a stable, certain future. That stability may be comforting, but it won't provide you with any growth or advancement in any dimension. Taking risks is also much easier said than done. I've lost relationships, money, my well-being when I shot the gun a few times really badly. But the best things in my life also came from me taking risks, and the same thing applies to you. That feeling of your heart pounding, not knowing what could happen, just fills you with energy, and it makes us all braver, stronger, and more confident as men. So whatever came into your mind when I said take risks, make it happen. Now, the second thing showing your potential as a man is that you don't compete, because life is nothing more than one massive competition for both status and resources. If you believe this modern day woke narrative, oh, you're just competing with yourself, then you are shooting yourself in the foot. You are comparing yourself to who you were yesterday, but you are competing with every other man on the planet. And there was nothing vain or egotistical about that. There was nothing wrong with wanting to be better than other men, because that will push you 10x harder than anything you can muster up from inside of you. Every time I pushed past my limits, it was to beat someone else. Whether I was in high school and neck in a race with someone, but I needed that energy to win. Or I would be drained during MMA practice, but that guy's still going. I'm gonna be sparring him at the end of class, and I needed to beat him. Even here on YouTube, views are not gained, they're taken. Every single person who watched this video, including you, did not watch someone else's video. I was competing with them, and I beat them by having a better thumbnail, title, whatever it was. In high school, there was a girl that I was in love with. She was fine. She was a Shia Muslim, which checked off that box that my mom cared about. And I decided this was a one. I'm gonna bag her one day. I was all this weird fantasizing in my head that, yeah, we're gonna get married and have kids, and we're gonna take our kids swimming with dolphins as a family. So all this weird stuff. But someone told me a while back that she got married to someone else. So I stalked her husband's socials. He was jacked, he was a surgeon, he was charismatic, good looking, everything I wasn't at the time. And for the longest time, I was like, oh, screw that guy. It must have been some sort of arranged marriage. She probably hates him. But I realized a while back that I'm in the wrong here. I was competing with that guy and every other guy that she was talking to for her, and I lost. And losing is incredibly brutal. This past year, I lost 2 jiu-jitsu competitions, and it seemed like the sun was cold. It hurt a part of me I can't even describe. But ultimately, we have to channel that pain to become better, continue to compete, because what's the alternative, right? Just stay being a loser, or worse, a loser that never even loses because they never even compete. That's not an option. Jake Gyllenhaal, the, bubblehead guy from like the last Spider-Man movie, he encapsulates this idea really well. The idea of competition, particularly in a creative atmosphere, is always there. If you don't acknowledge that, you're doing yourself and the process a disservice. So whatever fields you're in, make them more competitive. Sign up for competitions, find someone slightly better than you, and set on a plan to beat them. And always remember that you were in constant competition with every single man on the planet. Let that dictate the actions you do, and the future you will be in a much better spot. The next thing showing your potential as a man is not striving to achieve freedom. And I made this mistake for a very long time when I was younger. I thought all I wanted was money. I set out to be a computer science major in college. It was the highest paying major. My first job out of college, I was a software engineer. I made $215,000 in total compensation. But I still felt it was a gaping pit of emptiness inside of me. And that's because I realized that money is tied to the freedoms that it gives you. And we as men inherently crave freedom. That's why we threw 100 barrels of tea into the Boston Harbor. That's why we reminded the Germans not to get fresh with us twice. Because we crave freedom. Now, most of us already have our baseline freedoms met in Western countries. We have religion, assembly, speech. But in terms of our work, there are 3 freedoms we need to be striving for, and the first one is location freedom, to be able to work from anywhere in the entire world. The second one is time freedom, being able to earn money without having to work at that exact moment. This is also called passive income. And lastly, independence freedom, being in full control of how much you want to work, how little you want to work, when you want to start working, what days you want to work, what you want to work on, etc. Without these, you're always at the mercy of someone else. Maybe there's a topic you want to discuss, but you're worried about the repercussions. There's an event you want to go to, but your boss says you have to work that day. Maybe you're really sick, but you don't just have to make ends meet. Most of our lives are spent working. So if you're under someone else's control that entire time, making them money, then how can you ever reach your full potential? So before you dive deeper into your career or whatever prospects you want to pursue, ask yourself, how much freedom will this give me? And if the answer is not a lot, then you need to recalibrate. And the last thing showing your potential as a man is that you don't seek out discomfort. This is a weird paradox because we work so brutally hard to achieve a comfortable, stable life, but once we get there, we can't stay there because it kills a part of us on the inside. Because of the tech advancements in our modern world, we have been poisoned with so much comfort, it is painfully hard to leave it. We can sit in our warm, heated house, eat junk food, jerk off, watch woke Disney movies, play video games, all with the touch of a button. There is nothing enjoyable about your muscles tearing in the gym or the feeling of an ice bath, even trying to sit down and focus for 3 hours straight on making more money without getting distracted. But ultimately, we must sacrifice that comfort because we grow the most from discomfort and challenge. My first ever MMA workout, I remember like it was yesterday. We was wrestling, I was on these very heavy padded mats, we were doing light slams, and I was in tears at the end of the workout. I was holding back my tears because of how much pain I was in because I was such a weakling. And I felt so much shame and disgust in myself going home that day. But day on top of day of showing up to practice when I didn't feel like it and I didn't want to go made me turn more into a man. I went in the rain, the snow, the hail. And when I tell people today I've only taken cold showers, I work out every day, I've not eaten a piece of chocolate or candy in the past 3 years, they're mind blown. But to me, it's normal life because I steadily increased, I progressively overloaded the amount of discomfort into my life. And you have to be doing the same to reach your full potential. Ask yourself, what is the easiest challenge you can be doing? Even if it's something as small as flossing your teeth every night, start there, make it a habit, and build up. We've been coddled our whole lives through modern society's prosperity, taught to see risk as bad and being told that our identity can be formed by things other than raw interactions with the world. But it's those interactions, those risks we take that lead us to reach our full potential and become better men. Realize that if you don't risk your comfort to achieve your dreams, then the future you won't even have his dreams for comfort. So go out there and take some risks. I hope you took something away from this video. And if you want to learn more about health and success, then check out the cool links in the description below, like signing up for my weekly newsletter. Also check out this video, you'll like it. Wishing you the best, and I'll catch you in the next one.